Why people should vote for you?
That's a good question. They should vote for me because I have the experience to do the job. I'm experienced not only as a solicitor and as an attorney, but I'm also experienced as a victim's advocate years ago. This is my second career. I'm a lawyer. I was a social worker, and I bring a huge piece of compassion to this job as well. I know that as a solicitor, I will be firm but fair in all of my prosecutorial decisions. I want to be a solicitor for all of Augusta, everyone in Augusta.
Is this your first time running for office?
Yes, it is.
How difficult is it for you?
It's been a learning experience. I will say that it's not easy, but it's going to be well worth it in the end. Campaigning can be ugly, but I think it's very important that the citizens of Augusta, that everyone will have the opportunity to make a choice, that they put you in the office, and so that you know that you are accountable to them and you have to answer to them. Prosecute for misdemeanors in Richmond County, and most counties in Georgia have a separate prosecutor for misdemeanors and felonies. We handle civil battery, domestic violence cases, DUI, and all traffic offenses in Richmond County.
I think it's an atrocity. The court system should look like the community. Now, Willie Saunders and Ben Allen have the same experience, same qualifications, same everything as the persons that were appointed permanently. But it also sends a message to you, each one of you, that you should do what? Vote. Because that's the only way you're going to get things that are fair and equal, is vote. Now, I acknowledge that the DA's office don't appoint juvenile court judges, but the judges should reflect the community. And not only the juvenile department, but in everything, the Superior Court, everything, probate court, everything, it should reflect the community. And the only way you're going to change it is get up on November 6th and vote. Come hell or high water. Get up on November 6th and vote.
First, let me say that the District Attorney's Office has no role in the decision-making of that judicial process. Having said that, I think that the conversation needs to be about whether those judges can be effective in the roles where they have been appointed. Juvenile court has turned into a feeder to the Department of Corrections. Juvenile court programs have also been diminished to the point that we have a very difficult time incarcerating a youthful offender. And I am talking about repeat offenders, one of whom committed 20-something burglaries between the time that he was 14 and prior to turning 17, with his last burglary as a juvenile being about 2 days before his 17th birthday. And if you think he stopped at that point, then you are wrong, because he continued to commit the same burglary offenses after he turned 17 years old. I understand that there is a level of comfort and a level of familiarity, and quite frankly, a level of trust, thank you, associated with people who look like me. If I'm facing someone, I have all of those emotional responses to a person who looks like me or acts like me. But we have to get beyond that and look at whether they are doing their job, whether they are legally qualified to do their job, and whether they can be fair to every single person that comes before them, regardless of whether that person on the other side looks like the judge does.
I think it's a doggone shame. I'm running for judge, but I think what the Superior Court judges did is a doggone shame because, number one, they took the minority community, the African American community, for granted. Their removing the two black judges shows an insensitivity and an ignorance and an arrogance that this community should not tolerate.
That's right.
You know, it's time for diversity.
Say it.
Within the Augusta Judicial Circuit, we have 25 judges. That takes Columbia County, Richmond, and Byrd County. Out of those 25 judges, we only have 2 minority judges, 2 African American judges. Now, what's wrong with that picture? And here we have a situation where we could have retained 2 minority attorneys to make the statistics a little better. What did they do? They got rid of both of them and replaced them by 2 more white lawyers. Now, the lawyers that are appointed to the court, they are qualified for that position, but no one can tell me that Benjamin Allen wasn't qualified to retain his seat. So something there. Because there will be diversity within the courts. Our kids deserve to have role models too. And when they walk into juvenile court, they need to see some people of color in positions of authority.
We need to use technology to be able to put people talking to people rather than people shuffling paper. I've been able to secure a new program from the Prosecuting Attorneys Council. It is a computer system that the old one is obsolete. It's over 15 years old. I was a probation officer back in the early 90s when it was developed. When it comes to fruition in the next few months, we're going to be able to put those people that now just shuffle paper, put them in contact with individuals. How does that help us further? One thing I'd like to do is start a peer court. That's where young people judge young people in trouble. And through that, they learn a lot about staying out of trouble, and there's things that young people can say to one another that we old folks just can't do. And I think that'll make a difference in young people's lives. We will continue to work with our accountability court to strengthen that. We will continue to do the things that we need to do to work out the laws change about expungements and how we respond to that. That's something important for everyone in the community to understand. If you've got someone that has a record, they need to address that before July of next year.
When I am out and about and I'm speaking to people, oftentimes they will ask me, why don't we know this, or why don't we have this information? Many times in churches and in schools. It would be very helpful to many if we could just come out and speak and make ourselves more visible to give people the knowledge that they need to know about the laws in Georgia. Something as simple to young people that if you go 24 miles or more over the speed limit, your license gets suspended. Parents don't know that, children don't know that. We need to be more involved in educating even about the law. Our students. Domestic violence is very important to us and what happens to our victims in the court. But there are other victims. There are oftentimes people that simply don't know how to maneuver through the court system, don't know when their court dates are coming up. We need to make sure that you are informed when your court dates are coming, what's going to happen when you come there, because many people don't know, and it's confusing when you walk into that big building at 735 9th Street. In case anybody didn't know, there will be a new sheriff in town soon. And part of what the solicitor will have to do is work with that sheriff. Whoever it is, we're going to have to work together to keep the streets safe, even for something as simple as speeding.
I don't like the tenet of saying that we choose people because of their color. I don't care whether somebody is black, white, blue, green, or purple. If they can do the job, elect them. When been on the bench in the probate court, and I have been there many, many times, and had many, many people come through there, and I had to make decisions based on what those people brought before me. I found one thing. I did not make decisions until I had all the facts. I did not make decisions based on just because somebody was black or white. I wanted to hear the entire case. I wanted to hear what they had to say. Many a case that I sat on, the black lawyer won as opposed to the white, because the facts were better, because they were presented better. And I chastise you for taking a position where we're not voting this time with a D and an R beside our name, but a B and a W. Now that should not be. I want to see quality people. I would go down and Carl Brown, if he had to run for judge, I would be his chairman of his campaign. He is a good person. Not only a good judge, but he is a good person. And that's who I want to see in positions in this county.
A production of Anibal Ibarra.
AnibalShow.com.
AnibalShow.com.